I have over 20 years experience lifting weights, and I've been training people since 2009 on how to gain muscle and lose fat. I've simplified everything you need to know in just 3 simple pillars. The 3 pillars are training, nutrition, and recovery. By the end of this video, you'll be able to grade your own routine, because if you click off this video and you don't change what you're doing, you will remain the same. So we're gonna use an analogy. We're gonna pretend that you are a muscle factory. Your factory needs 3 things to happen to build muscle. Number 1, you need the order or the demand to start building muscle. Number 2, you need the raw materials to put that muscle together. And number 3, you need the workers to do their job forging that muscle. If you're not training consistently, you are not gonna build muscle. I regularly do consultations with new members, and they always tell me, this week I'm gonna train 4 days, this week I'm gonna train 2 days, this week I'm not gonna train at all. So moving forward, I want you to train each muscle at least twice a week, however you divide that up, to make sure that when you train it, you have recovery, you can train it again. If you're weightlifting at least 5 days a week, I want you to give yourself a point. You already earned 1 point on consistency. Now, the next thing is training intensity. Muscles do not grow from effort, they grow from tension. I see a lot of people going to the gym and they're killing themselves on battle ropes, sweating all over the place, and they think they're doing great for muscle growth. The 2 biggest problems that I see people do are they're not getting close to muscular failure, and they're moving the weights way too fast. You will get a much greater signal for growth the more time under tension you have on that muscle. So control the weight, don't throw the weight. Now, one of the best things to increase your intensity is actually weight. However, that's one of the things that is killing your technique. I always tell my clients, leave your ego at the door. For example, if you're bench pressing, if you load up the bar way too heavy than you can handle, you're gonna start flaring your elbows, kicking your legs, and activating other muscles that you're not trying to grow. This is increasing your risk of injury and not working the muscles that you want. Now, for training, we've talked about consistency, intensity, and technique. If you're doing all 3 of these, you're already doing better than most. You now have the demand to build muscle. But without the raw materials, you're not gonna build that muscle. So let's talk about nutrition. And I do hundreds of consultations with gym goers. The number 1 thing that they are failing on their nutrition is protein. Screenshot this right now, because this is one of the most confusing things that people debate in the world. Even senior trainers have a hard time understanding these values. You will often hear that you need 0.8 grams per kilogram, or I've done the translation for you, 0.36 grams per pound. Even the World Health Organization and many national academies recognize for sedentary people that 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body weight is to prevent malnutrition. The second one that I've converted, 0.73 grams per pound. This is the minimum recommendation for people who are weightlifting regularly or athletes training. There have been decades of exercise science to show that people that train need 0.73 grams of protein per pound to sustain or prevent muscle mass loss. Now, what is optimal protein intake to make sure that you are gaining as much muscle as you can? 1 gram per pound of body weight is what is optimal for growing muscle mass. If you are getting these levels, drop it in the comments below, because you deserve the props. Hey, real quick, the noblest art is that of making other people healthy. So if you've learned something in this video, please share it with somebody so that they can also benefit from this information. All right, let's get back to the video. The number 2 flaw that I see for people that are trying to gain muscle mass is they're not eating enough calories. I often see people, typically that are in laborious jobs, they're very skinny, very lean, and they want to gain muscle mass. Even if they're training really hard in their job and they're training hard in the gym, you are not eating enough calories. You have to be in a caloric surplus to gain mass. It can be very difficult to know exactly how many calories you should eat. I recommend getting a fitness tracker as well to know exactly how many steps you're walking and how much strain you're experiencing throughout the day. That's 5 possible points so far. I hope you're doing well. Now let's dive into the third thing for nutrition. Now I think this is really important because I'm seeing a lot of people experiment with intermittent fasting. And so I want to talk about timing your nutrients throughout the day. This is a spectrum that I created to show a fasted state and a fed state. If you are not eating a lot, you're gonna be in a catabolic state most of the day. If you're eating very often, you're gonna be in an anabolic state, or where you're building muscle mass most of the day. Now, I understand if your goal is to lose weight, you should probably reduce the amount of time that you're eating so that you are in more of a catabolic state. If your goal is to gain muscle mass, then you should probably be in a fed state most of the time so that you always have the raw materials to build the muscle mass you're looking for. Now, if you're not allowing your body to recover, that is like getting the raw materials, having an order, and you're telling your workers to take the day off. And the number one thing I see telling the workers to take the day off is not getting enough sleep. I have no doubt you have heard this before, but we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. I found one classic study that just getting 5 hours of sleep for 1 week in healthy adults reduced their testosterone levels by 10 to 15%. Moving forward, please get 7 to 9 hours every single night to make sure that you're optimizing your recovery. The number 2 violation I see for getting results is actually stress management. When my clients are stressed, I can tell immediately. They come into the gym, they look tired, they feel fatigued. Even if they got enough sleep, even if they ate good enough nutrition, they feel fatigued because they are stressed out of their mind. You need your parasympathetic nervous system to kick on to recover those muscles. If you're in fight or flight mode all the time, that is not occurring. Since I can't influence your life, I'm gonna make 2 recommendations that help me tremendously with stress management. I started doing the Daily Stoic Journal by Ryan Holiday. I did this for over a year because I saw so much value in it. And the number 2 thing I recommend is supplementation. I started using L-Theanine, Magnesium, and Ashwagandha. My high stress events on my Whoop plummeted in the following days. I will put links in the description below so you can see exactly what I used. The third component for recovery is taking rest days. It's easy to fall into the mindset that you don't need to take a rest day, but let me give you the lesson without you experiencing the scar. When I was in my 20s, there was one point where I didn't take any rest days for multiple months. One day, I found out that I had severe heart palpitations, and my heart would skip a beat every 3 to 5 beats. I stopped taking stimulants, it didn't work. I went to the doctor and got checked. They said I was fine, but then I went on vacation, and I do not lift when I'm on vacation. And the weirdest thing is, my palpitations stopped. But when I came back home and I started lifting again, my palpitations came back. And then I made the connection that I need to take rest days. Even if you are not sore, your nervous system can't handle the accumulation of fatigue. If you want to optimize your health and your muscle growth, please take 1 rest day every single week. If you want to go for something, just go do an easy walk at zone 2 that will help your body recover even more. Now, put your score in the comments below. If you made it this far, you get a bonus point to make it 10 out of 10 possible points. If you have 10 out of 10 points, then your factory is running smoothly and you are definitely in the top 5% of people. Now, like I said in the beginning, the noblest art is that of making others healthy, so think of one person to send this to and share the knowledge.